we're in the final segment here. And just kind of want to reflect back on Erasmus. I mean, because we're moving from we're moving in through 2 centuries worth of history here. Erasmus, Luther, James the First, and then it continues on with Charles the First and Charles the Second, in which we get into this entanglement that the Parliament, the Anglican Parliament, and then the Royal Catholic view is in contention. Charles II being the end of the English Civil War, and trying to squash the Commonwealth of England. So we have to understand that there had been and will be a lot of contention between the Catholic and the Protestants in England for several generations. And when the King James Version, you're talking about a politically motivated book. Sorry, guys. Everything points that way. If you can show me some proof that it wasn't politically motivated, I'm more than happy to look at it and review it. And I can, for the most part, remove my bias. That bias, obviously, being my research. That I'm not seeing it. It's not there. There's too much information citing on the King James Version being written in order to remove the monarchy away from the papal state. And then its contention with what eventually happens with all relative or nominal thought of individuation, that it is ruled by democracy, which leads to socialism. We don't need a king. It's just a formality. We have a parliament now. You can vote. I'm not intrinsically against democracies. It served my country well. But being solely democratic is, and being an American is kind of it's a misguided set of words. We are not a democracy. We are a democratic republic. And that republic has representatives who vote, certainly. But they don't necessarily vote for the demands of the majority of the people. Hence, we have an electoral college. So it's apparent if you compare the religious philosophical precepts and then look at the political, you'll find a parallel that is convincing. They go hand in hand. They walk hand in hand. And, I mean, understandably, the Roman Catholic Church has had to kind of concede its power. You know, Vatican II and all. It's had to concede. Because the Democratic Republic has become the dominant force. The point of me talking about today and writing the article, or at least the first part of the article, was to convey that there are major errors in the beginning of the 15th into the 16th century. There's major errors. You have to understand that. You have to look at that. These errors are way too apparent to allow it to go unnoticed. There has to be an observance of what was going on in history while this was being written. And I take this approach with most everything. And a lot of people don't understand. I've gotten into plenty of arguments online, Reddit, on my Twitter account, on my Facebook with family, several times. People are like, what are you talking about? We don't understand what you're talking about. So I'm always giving a historical reference. It has to have context. If you don't understand something within its context, then you do not understand what is going on. And your information is limited. And you can choose how to take on that opinion any way you want. But you need the context in order to ground you into what was going on. Being saved is a process. Once you are born again, there's the process of growth, right? Or once you have given yourself to Christ, there is a process that is involved in being saved. The experience of salvation, I believe, is the New American Catholic version. How it's and I actually kind of like that. The experience of salvation. I really like that. Because it is an experience. You experience it continually. And you fall and are redeemed and forgiven, and fall and are redeemed and forgiven. You know, you're constantly falling and being forgiven, which just naturally shows Christ's mercy and grace, and the fact that we can be consistently forgiven. You know, that doesn't mean that you go out and purposely do something, or the process of being forgiven requires a certain amount of Hail Marys. What I am saying is that it's there to demonstrate Christ's forgiveness. He sent his only begotten Son, so that we may be forgiven. And it's a continuous thing. Because where is Christ right now? Constantly, in every moment of our lives. It's constantly there. But as I'm speaking now, Christ is in our lives. Teaching, showing, forgiving. It's an experience. In fact, it's an experience wrought with obstacle. In fact, if you have any understanding of what it was, what your life was before you were saved, and the life that you had after, it's a completely different experience. Because now you have to answer to somebody. Congratulations. You're not an atheist. There is an afterlife. There's something to look forward to, and you are constantly being scrutinized. And Christ is an excellent source of that criticism. Christ is perfect. I never understood that atheist concept. I understand agnosticism a little bit better than I do atheism. Mainly because of the presupposition that there is possibly something out there. I just still need the proof. I'm still struggling. I'm searching. But atheism... it's so ironic that these people are like, these stupid Christians... I don't know why they're doing anything silly, playing their God game. Being manipulated by their God spell. That's one book I've read, The God Spell, which I thought was just completely stupid. It's an atheist. Everybody focuses on Bertrand Russell. What an idiot. So intelligent and so stupid. If you're an atheist, why are you even doing what you're doing? If it's empty. If you're going to die into darkness, nothing, why are you even here? For no reason. You're singing for singing's sake? Well, that's just ridiculous. Or you're singing to get better for what reason? You're not trying to help anybody? Well, I'm just doing it artistically because art needs its... Well, that's a sort of pantheism, right? You're lifting up art into something that is bigger than yourself. That is a religion. So it's pantheist. So even atheists, like scientific atheists, well, they're doing it. Presupposition is that they're doing it for science's sake. Why? Well, because science is much greater than myself. Well, that's a religious notion, which is pantheist. Because there's lots of sciences, right? So, keep that in mind. You can always refute an atheist on the presupposition of causality started. We'll get into that kind of philosophy later. I'll probably bring that up in the next couple weeks, but I'm signing off. You guys take care. Tired. Research. Go out and research. Figure it out for yourself. Have a good night.